So, you thinking about futures? That was me a few months ago. I was doing fine trading stocks. I had a good setup. I had some momentum. It was going good. But then real life hit. I had to pull some money from my account temporarily. So I went from a 100K trading account to 22,000 overnight. And just like that, I was under the PDT rule. I couldn't move and I couldn't trade like I needed to, like I'm used to, like I normally trade. So even though I knew I'd get that money back eventually, I couldn't trade the way I normally trade for a few months. So my mentor and a few other people said, "Hey, try futures." Never really thought about it, so I went ahead and jumped in. I was confident because I was really good at trading stock. So I jumped in and I found a online guru, a few YouTube videos, and I connected with Apex. So what I did is I registered with Apex. I got evaluations account and I proceeded to fail evaluation after evaluation after evaluation. Ended up losing a lot of money. Why? Because I didn't know what I was doing. I was relying on unreliable information, and the people that I was trusting were just trying to pimp their affiliate code. I really didn't know what I was doing. So basically, I've been through what you've been through, and what we went through is the reason why 90% of the traders fail. They either quit or they keep doing the same thing over and over and over and making someone else rich. Well, I could tell you I'm not rich. I don't have a Lambo and I never will. I'm a truck guy anyways. I have an F-150. That's it. And but I can teach you a little bit and help you avoid the pitfalls that I made, selecting the prop firm, what futures are, etc. So I'm not going to get rich through you. I mean, I will have an affiliate code, but you can use it if you want. But that's not my purpose. My purpose is here is just to better ourselves, me and you. So join me. This is Cryptic, and this is my Odyssey, our Odyssey. So let's get started. First of all, what are futures? Well, futures are contracts. They're deals to buy or sell something. Something like oil, gold, silver, stocks. At a price you lock in now, but it happens later. But here's the catch. You're not actually getting the stuff. Well, technically you can, but we're not worrying about that because we're only day traders. So don't worry, no oil barrels are going to be clogging your garage. You're just betting on where the price of oil, gold, silver, NASDAQ are going. That's futures. And your battlefield is a chart. The other thing about futures is leverage. For example, drop $1,000 and you might control $50,000 of the market. It depends on the contract. And also, depending on the contract, a 1% move could be $500 won or lost, snap in a snap. Just like that. The power futures have are massive. The mercy futures give you zero, none. The thing is, you don't need a huge account. You could get by with a small account, but you do need to be dead on. Futures don't mess around, and if you're off, you're toast. So stick around because we're going to break this down a little more. Remember, futures basically are contracts, and the price action is a lot smoother than it would be even in SPY or in any other stock. So why trade futures? We've already seen how risky it is, right? Well, it's simple. There's no PDT rule, no 25K account minimum, which is something that hamstrings us when we trade stock. Now, options is a different thing, but options have delta, gamma, etc. But futures is pure price action. Fast in, fast out, unlimited trades. You want to take 10 trades a day, which I do not recommend, you're free to. Want to trade small size? Well, trade with micros. That I do recommend. For example, ES. We're going to find out what that is right now. But if you trade one ES contract, if it moves 10 points in your favor, it's $500 just like that. And that could be done in a minute or less. Futures give you freedom, but you better earn it. Like anything that gives you freedom, you gotta work hard for it. And you gotta work, first of all, on your psyche. Okay, so let's break down the futures contract that we're probably gonna end up trading. Remember, we already talked about ticks and points. So right now we're gonna see how these futures move and what the values are. Okay, ready? Okay, let's start with the ES. We already spoke about the ES, but that's the E-mini S&P 500. What this tracks is the top 500 US companies. Now, the one thing I like about the ES, it has clean structure, and if you're a good technical trader, technical setups work pretty good on this future. What's the value? One tick is worth $12.50, and 4 ticks equals 1 point. So, 1250 times 4 gives us the value of 1 point. This is the most commonly what we use for trading. Most people tend to love the ES. But there's also the MES, which is the micro version of the S&P 500. Basically, it's the same chart, but smaller size, less risk. This one, the values are 1 tick is worth $1.25. 4 ticks equal 1 point. So 4 ticks equal $5 on this. And it's perfect for practicing or passing prop firm evals. Most people, when they start out at first, they tend to stick with the MES until they get better because there's less risk of blowing your account in one trade of the MES, unless you leverage, which, you really shouldn't be doing. Now, there's the big boy, which is NQ, the NASDAQ 100. This one is volatile, fast, and tech heavy. We're talking about Apple, Tesla, Nvidia. The values for this guy. 1 tick is worth $5. 4 tick equals 1 point. So that means that 4 ticks are worth $20. Now the NASDAQ, you could tell one thing about it. The tick value is worth less, than the ES. It's worth less. So we might think, well, this guy is more safe. Well, no. The thing with the NQ is that this guy whips up and down. This guy is not as good technically, and it has big wicks, so it could knock you out of a trade really fast. And it's high reward, high risk, and this sucker will fake even the best traders out. It's possible to make a lot of money with it, but it's possible to blow an account in 10 seconds. This guy also has its micro version, which is the MNQ. Same chart as the NQ, but less risky. 1 tick is worth 50 cents. 4 ticks is worth 1 point, which is worth $2. Now, a lot of people that don't want to risk trading the NQ, but want a little more speed than the ES, tend to trade this micro, the MNQ. It's great for learning the rhythm of momentum, and I tend to like trading the MNQ more than anything else because you can make good money. It's still risky, but not as risky as its big brother. One that a lot of people like to trade also is the YM, which is the Dow Futures. This is heavy industrial names like Caterpillar, etc. This is a slower mover. 1 tick equals 1 point on this, which is worth $5. So it has no fractions, basically $5. 1 move, 1 payout. It's a simpler structure. It's still powerful. The one advantage of the YM is that it tends to trend well. So if you get in a trend, you could probably ride that sucker all day and make very, very good money. It also has a micro, but we're not going to focus on that. Then there's gold futures. Now, this is emotional and explosive, and it spikes on fear, on news, on inflation. 1 tick of it is worth $10. 10 ticks equal 1 point, which is worth $100. Now, this guy moves fast. Sometimes it doesn't move at all. When it moves, it could go boom and boom. But it trends well also. So if you find a trend and you get in it, you can make some serious bank. But respect it, because gold will wreck you faster than you can possibly imagine. Now, these contracts that I'm talking about, there's a lot more. You can go into silver, there's a lot more. But they're basically your tools for trading. Now, you got to pick something that matches your style. If you're more aggressive, then the NQ is going to destroy you. But it could also make you rich, honestly. But first of all, when we're starting out, we prefer micros. Just remember, tick size and tick value tell you exactly how much you're risking or making on every single move. And that's why it's important, no matter what we trade, to know those values. Okay, now that we have an idea of what futures are worth and what futures mean, how do we trade them? Well, we're going to have an account. Now, our long-term goal should be to get funded with our own broker. I mean, I have an account with a broker. It's a small one, but I trade off it quite often. But most likely, since leverage is involved and there's a lot of margin, we're going to have a decent chunk of money before we could trade anything substantial. So now there's something else available for us, which are prop firms, short for proprietary trading firms. Now, these firms are designed to give you the money to trade. Basically, you pass their test, prove you can manage risk, and boom, you're funded. You trade, and they keep a cut, and you keep the risk. We keep the rest. There's no need to trade your own cash with these. It sounds awesome, right? Well, yes and no. Here's the problem. They're structured in a way to make you fail. Almost every single one. Some of them have better rules than the others, but they want to make you fail. And most traders fall into the trap of failing the eval. That's what happened to me. And sometimes these evals are so cheap that you just stack up on them and you blow through them and you don't pay attention and you try to get money fast. Well, if you do that, that's what they want and that's how they get you. But another thing is sometimes we go and trade thinking that it's like a normal stock and it's not. Most traders fail the eval because they don't know the contract. They ignore tick sizes. They size up too big. They overtrade and tilt and boom, account blown. And prop firms aren't forgiving. And this is the trap that 90% fall into. They do this step over and over and over and over and over. And prop firms keep taking their money. And then once in a while you get shady prop firms that really screw you over. I can talk about one, but I'm not going to do it right now. Most people that have been trading them for a while know which one I'm talking about. And that's what happens. Now, if they're risky, why use them? Well, like I said, they do fund and they do pay out. And most of them, even though the rules are tended to favor them, are pretty legit. I could mention a few, and I'm going to talk about a few of those that are legit. But understand the math. Trade with control. You got a shot to do this. It's possible, but you gotta learn first. You gotta respect the risk. You gotta see what it takes to pass that firm. Remember, the purpose of this is to get funded and to get payouts. And only well-disciplined traders do that. What does that involve? What prop firms can we use? What prop firm should I start out with? Well, we're going to talk about that in the next video. But for now, just keep in mind what we talked about, and this will help you establish a firm base on how to become a good futures trader. So, if you made it this far, I want to thank you for joining Cryptic's Odyssey. As you can tell, I'm not a YouTuber. I don't like doing these videos. I mean, I'm slow on talking. But hey, I'm here to help. Okay, so real traders, real talk. No fluff, no signals, no hype. This is just me chatting about my experience in trading to help you out, and hopefully you help me out. We're going to focus on what strategy to use. We're going to do breakdowns of different prop firms. We're going to show lessons, and we're going to help each other become great traders. My hope is that me and maybe one other person can become great traders, and then we could teach a few more. That's the whole purpose of this. So if you're serious about futures, you are in the right place. Like I said, I'm not a guru. I never will be. And even if I am one day, I'm not going to show off like one because it's just not my personality. I'm just a dude that drives a truck and that was a farmer's son. That's all I am. So drop a comment. What contract are you starting with? Anything you want to ask me? Tag someone who needs this before they blow up another eval, and together we can help them out. And remember, if you like, hit the subscribe button, and I do have a few affiliate links. If you want to click on that and help me out, you can. If you don't, cool, no problem. Okay, so let's grow. More videos coming, and thank you for joining Cryptic's Odyssey.